Hey guys, my name is Wendell. Welcome to Drunk Bass Player. Today we're going to be talking about something that I myself didn't know about for a few years when I started playing, but when I found it, it completely changed my sound. Talking about preamps. That's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Alright guys, so yeah, on my journey to becoming a borderline acceptable bass player, got to cover Lamb of God's Laid to Rest with my metal band, Thirst for Clarity. And that song was a challenge back then for me as a bass player. It is still a challenge today. Man, it's a workout. If you haven't played Laid to Rest, go play Laid to Rest. If it's easy for you, I'm glad. I need to practice. But anyway, yeah, checking out Lamb of God and their bass player, Mr. John Campbell, I looked into his rig because I thought his stuff sounded good. Listening to some isolated tracks of the bass with my buddy over here at the studio, it was like, wow, that's kind of nasty. And I kind of like it. And, you know, I was like, what makes it sound like that? So checking out his rig, I saw one thing very interesting. There was one piece of gear that I didn't really know what it was or what it did, but I think it was the only thing I could afford. So yeah, checked out the SansAmp bass driver. It was a preamp. My dad got it for me for Christmas, and it changed my sound completely. And that brings us to the point of this video. Preamps. I've got three here. I've got three here. The MXR, M81, the Dark Glass B7K, and the SansAmp. We're going to go through them. I'm going to show you what they do and how they could change your sound, and maybe you want to check one out. But first, you might be asking yourself, what is a preamp? Well, to put it really simply and probably not correctly, a preamp is something that's going to allow you to better fine-tune your sound. It could add some kind of color to your sound, we'll show you. And it's going to make things easier for you and people around you. Having a bass DI, you're going to be able to plug directly into a recording board, a computer, a recording setup, and easily tweak your sound without having to mess with a whole lot of stuff. Live situation, a sound guy's always going to be happy to see you have a DI because he can take that, run right to his board, and he can get it exactly where he needs and what he needs out of it for the front of house, for the crowd. All right, guys. So first off, we have the MXR81 bass preamp. Pretty compact. Nice little looking pedal. Wouldn't take up much room on a pedal board. Let's plug it up. Check out what it makes us sound like. We're going to go from our input on the amp to the output on the pedal. Going to find the other end of my cable. Someday. And we're going to plug it into the input. Dang it. Stop. This is just the amp, no preamp. Not a bad sound. Not a bad sounding little amp. Alright. Let's turn on the preamp. Okay, so right off the bat, you can tell the MXR is a pretty clean preamp, and to the naked ear, to my old messed up ear, you can hardly hear any difference at this point. So let's mess with the knobs a little bit. Let's turn off our input. Got a little more power now. Let's add some low end. Maybe adjust the mids just a little bit with our mid knob here. We're going down, coming back up. We could add, I think, just a little bit more mids on this. Now let's go to the high end. Let's mess with the treble. So anyway, you can bring more out of your sound with a preamp. Now, while this thing is pretty clean, and it doesn't color your sound the most, I mean, let's drive the input up. Let's see what it sounds like. Will it distort? Distortion out of this thing is if I really crank my gain up on the amp itself and everything on here, the output included probably. We don't really want that. This is a clean preamp, and if you're a clean player, slap player maybe, you know, you might want to check this one out. Moving on. Here we have the SansAmp programmable bass DI. This is the deluxe version. You can get a SansAmp that is one channel. This is just the 3-channel version. There are some differences, but pretty much all the Tech 21 stuff is great. All of it I've ever had any experience with is great. Just like the greatest, maybe. Alright, so anyway, let's not forget what the acoustic sounds like with no preamp on. Alright, now let's turn it on. Anyway, let's set it back to flat. Let's set this thing back to flat. Pretty much everything. Let's not mess with that level too much. As it says in the instruction manual, the controls of the SansAmp are very sensitive. So anyway, we've got our drive turned down now. We've got everything pretty much flat. Our drive is turned way down. About 9 o'clock. Let's check it out. Let's turn our drive up. Like I was saying earlier, the thing that intrigued me about getting one of these was John Campbell's grit and the distortedness and that stuff I was like, damn, you know, about. So anyway, let's turn our drive up. It's kind of fuzzy, kind of hairy. Without it, sounds nothing like it. Let's tweak it again. Has my settings memorized, so you could get even nastier if you wanted to. Sit here, mess with this bass, turn this bass up a little bit, turn our presence up. So important, get nasty. All right, the blend as far as this is going. Without. With. That sounds kind of cool. I wouldn't necessarily be playing like this with the bands I play with right now on the Sans Amp, but color, what we were talking about earlier, color to the sound. You can definitely do that with the Sans Amp. You can color it nasty, you can dial this stuff back, you can color it pretty. Dial that bass in, funk sound or reggae. I've got a 15 here, y'all. Come on. But anyway, yeah, the Sans Amp's a great tool. Started it all for me. Started it all for you. Definitely recommend. But hey, yeah, let's go back to that blend knob. That's something we can explore a little bit with the Sans Amp. We didn't have a blend knob with the MXR. The blend is exactly what it says it is, supposedly. I didn't build the thing. As you turned the blend towards the left, you get just the sound of your amp. And then you can blend in the pedal. So if your blend's all the way up, you've pretty much done away with your amp signal and EQ. You are running nothing to this amp right now, as far as I know, but the Sans Amp's EQ settings. Which, you know, man, it's hard to dial in a bad sound with the Sans Amp unless you just don't know anything. Or can't read. That's what I will say. Unless you just can't read. Hell, even if you can't read, you should be able to dial in a good sound with this pedal. It's got pictures in the instructions if you can't read. Pictures, people. Yeah, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just joking. Anyway, let's get one final sound from this thing. Let's put the blend about there. Might need to dial back our level a little bit, it sounded like. Let's jack our bass back. Let's do our drive. And let's see if we can remember any of Laid to Rest. I cannot remember the run to save my life, people. Sorry. The Sans Amp, y'all. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, we got the Microtubes B7K dark glass electronics pedal. If you've been anywhere playing bass for a little while and you have the internet, you've probably seen the name dark glass. It's been everywhere for a while. It's been the sound pretty much in the last few years for bass players. I think I first heard of them about 2013, something like that, 2014. They've just blown up. Everybody has a dark glass now. Even people that don't play bass have a dark glass pedal. I mean, it's just that popular. I'm joking. Let's turn it on. Let's plug it up. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, we're going to level everything out. And, again, let's just hear what the old normal acoustic sounds like. Let's turn it on. See what it just sounds like out the gate. I'll admit that out the gate, I do have it, these little things here tweaked to in the nastiest way I could get them, because that's what I use this pedal for. This is the nasty. This is the truth, pretty much. If you want to come through in a metal band, a rock band, hell, man, in any band, you're going to cut through like a chainsaw with one of these. Let's turn it on. let's mess with the knobs a little bit. First off, we're going to put our low up a little bit. Hard to tell. Just that little bit. High mids up just a tad. As we get more into it and we talk more about stuff, you're going to find out pretty much that mids are a lot to do with your sound. Even though, you know, you may have heard people say, scoop the mids. Don't scoop your mids. You know, in some cases, there's always an exception, you know. You might have the one amp that, damn, you need to scoop your mids. But as a general rule, don't scoop the mids. I'm going to turn up our high mids a little bit more than the low mids. Alright, I'm not going to mess with the treble. Pretty happy with where the high end is. If we do need high end, we got a knob. We can come back. Don't forget, you can always come back. And in some cases, you don't want to add. You might want to subtract. Say you can't get a good enough sound and you've got the treble maxed out. Well, turn the bass down a little bit, you know. Maybe that would help. You know, you got to play with your pedals. You got to twist knobs. You got to play with it. That's my thing. Let's turn our drive up a little bit. Got our drive from 12 to 3 o'clock here. Let's see the difference between 12 and 3 o'clock. And you see we're getting more distorted. A lot of the times, if you were to try to use a guitar pedal for distortion with a bass, you would lose all your low end. I don't know what exactly it is in the thing, but you know, while you might can dial in an awesome sound, I can guarantee you're going to be lacking on the low end. And as a bass player, you need to get that in there. Even if you do have a bright sound, it needs to have the low. It really does. So anyway, let's go back. We've got it sounding pretty nasty now. We can get nastier. Let's turn our blend up. Like we were talking about with the Sans amp, let's blend more of the dark glasses sound in with the sound of the acoustic. That's 3/4 dark glass. Without. And with. Sounds pretty good. But it's a dark glass pedal. You buy the dark glass for the dark glass sound because it's a great sound. So let's dial it in. Let's make it nasty. Let's get that dark glass sound. That's why we're here. We turn blend almost all the way up. Almost. Not going to max anything out. Drive almost maxed out. Turn a little bit more bass, a little bit more treble, and let's rock. Let's just jam a bit. You know, and you're not going to normally play anything like that, you know, if you're playing classic rock or anything, but if you're in a metal band, you know, there's no telling what you might have to play. So yeah, guys, today we went through 3 different preamps. I hope you were able to get something out of our little talk. First, we had the M81 Bass Preamp made by MXR, the cleaner of the 3. Then we had the old standby by Mini, Tech 21 NYC's SansAmp programmable bass driver. An awesome addition to your collection. And then we had the B7K Micro Tubes analog preamp made by Dark Glass Electronics. These are 3 great preamps. If you were going to get started playing with a preamp, I'd pretty much recommend any of these depending on what you're going for. Play clean, definitely this. Awesome. You play clean, dirty, but not as dirty as a Dark Glass. This is the answer. You play nasty. You're a dirty boy. You only want to get dirty every time. No, not to say this doesn't have great clean tones, but that's another video. This, the B7K. Hey guys, I hope you liked what you saw. I'm going to try to do more. I'm going to try to talk about stuff that maybe you don't hear about as much. Stuff that I learned over the years that nobody ever told me, and maybe I was afraid to ask. I'm going to try to get into that kind of stuff. And any questions you might have, any insults you might have, any comments you might have, any love you might have, anything you want to send my way, comment down below. Check it out. I'm Drunk Bass Player. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You know, stuff's down below. I'm going to put it there when I do it. You know, I'm going to do it to it. I'm going to do it. Nah. Hey, check me out, though. I really appreciate you checking me out. And, you know, if you want to, hit the bell. You can get notified next time I do something. But yeah, keep up with me. I'm Wendell, Drunk Bass Player. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next time.